Remember when a Saturday in the UK meant just one thing? Woolworths? That red sign glowing on the high street, the glass door that chimed as you walked in, and an endless world of wonder waiting inside. Pick and mix sweets, vinyl records. Toys stacked higher than you could ever reach. Woolworths wasn't just a store, it was a memory factory. A place where moments were made and childhoods were defined. But somewhere between laughter and recession, between nostalgia and neglect, it vanished. And today we're uncovering what really happened to Woolworths and why its disappearance still hurts, even after all these years. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what part of the Woolworths story you remember best. And if this brings back memories, hit subscribe so you don't miss more deep dives like this one. The beginning, the dream that started it all. It all began in 1909 in Liverpool, England. A young entrepreneur named Frank Winfield Woolworth brought his American dream across the Atlantic. A simple idea, everything for a penny or two. It was revolutionary. In a world still recovering from industrial chaos, Woolworths promised affordability, reliability, and most importantly, joy. By the 1930s, Woolworths wasn't just another shop, it was the British High Street. Every town had one. Every child knew the smell of the toy aisle. Every mother trusted the quality she could afford. In post-war Britain, Woolworths became more than a business. It became a symbol of normal life. It stood tall while the country rebuilt, offering small comforts that meant more than anyone realized. The thing about Woolworths wasn't just what it sold, it was how it made you feel. It was where your nan bought your first school uniform. Where did you spend your first pocket money? Where Christmas felt real. And while supermarkets grew and flashy malls arrived, Woolworths stayed familiar. That's what made it timeless. Or so everyone thought. Because behind those shelves, a quiet storm was brewing. One that would eventually sweep away everything Woolworths had built. Question for you, did you ever shop at Woolworths? What's the one thing you still remember? Could you drop it in the comments? Let's see how many people here still miss it. The fall, when nostalgia met reality. By the early 1990s, Woolworths still stood tall on nearly every UK high street. The red sign still gleamed. The aisles were still filled. But beneath the surface, everything was changing. The world that Woolworths helped build was leaving it behind. Supermarkets like Tesco and Asda expanded their ranges of toys, clothes, music and electronics all under one roof. Then came Argos offering catalog convenience. And just when things couldn't get tougher, the internet arrived. Woolworths wasn't ready. Its model, built on physical browsing, family shopping trips and in-person retail, suddenly felt old-fashioned. But instead of evolving, Woolworths doubled down on nostalgia. They believed loyalty would protect them. That sentiment would outweigh speed, technology, and price. But retail doesn't run on nostalgia, it runs on adaptation. And Woolworths didn't adapt fast enough. By the mid-2000s, the store layout felt cluttered. The product lines were inconsistent. Part toy shop, part grocery, part music store, part nothing clear. No identity. No focus. And in business, when you stand for everything, you end up standing for nothing. Then came the final blow, the digital revolution in music and media. Woolworths once dominated CD and DVD sales. But as iTunes, Napster and later Spotify rose, Woolworths watched its core audience vanish overnight. They tried cutting prices. They tried new logos. They even launched an online store. But it was too little too late. The real tragedy? The people inside Woolworths, loyal staff, lifelong customers, managers who grew up in the company saw it coming. But the board didn't listen. In 2008, during the global financial crisis, the cracks turned into a collapse. Debt piled up. Suppliers stopped shipping goods. And in December, something unthinkable happened. After nearly 100 years, Woolworths closed all 807 UK stores. 30,000 people lost their jobs. Entire communities lost their gathering place. And an entire generation lost a piece of its childhood. It wasn't just a store shutting down. It was the sound of an era ending. Were you there when your local Woolworths closed? Tell us in the comments what it feels like to see it go. But what if I told you? Woolworths' fall wasn't just about competition or bad timing. What if there were deeper reasons, the kind that never made the headlines? Because behind those shuttered doors, there were secrets. And that's what we're uncovering next. The truth, why Woolworths really collapsed. When Woolworths collapsed in 2008, the world blamed the recession. The headlines said it was inevitable. But the truth was far more complicated and far more human. For years, Woolworths had been carrying a hidden burden, debt. Massive, growing debt. When the company was sold to private investors in the early 2000s, they didn't just buy Woolworths, they bought its problems. The stores were outdated, profits were shrinking, and yet the new owners kept borrowing more, believing the brand name alone could save them. Inside boardrooms, decisions were made not for customers but for shareholders. Stores that needed renovation were ignored. Stock that didn't sell was overordered. And instead of listening to the people who worked the aisles every day, they trusted spreadsheets more than experience. The tragedy wasn't just that Woolworths failed, it's how it failed. It wasn't destroyed overnight by technology or recession. It was quietly drained by bad leadership, mounting loans, and a refusal to evolve. And when the 2008 financial storm hit, there was nothing left to hold on to. The truth is Woolworths could have survived. It had what most modern companies would kill for: trust, loyalty, and a century of emotional connection. But it forgot the one rule every great business must live by: adapt or disappear. Still, for millions, the name Woolworths isn't about failure. It's about childhood. It's about a world that felt simpler, slower, and kinder. And maybe that's why we still talk about it today. Because Woolworths didn't just vanish from the high street, it stayed alive in our hearts. When we think about those aisles, those sweets, those Christmas mornings, we're not just remembering a store. We're remembering a time when happiness came in small, simple moments. And maybe that's what Woolworths really sold all along. So, what really happened to Woolworths? Bad timing, bad leadership, bad luck maybe. But in truth, what happened was changed. And change spares no one, not even the stores we loved most. If this story brought back memories, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Where are you watching from? What's your favorite Woolworths memory? Let's see how many of us still carry a little bit of Woolworths in our hearts.